Let's talk about this Rasta, this fisherman's rib cowl, which is very thick, and again we have a very short end. Now this particular side has this particular an artifact of this particular stitch pattern that we're using. It has this nice bumpy edge, but right here where the seam happens, we lose that just a little bit. So I'm going to take this end on this side and see if we can make that look slightly more even. Get my darning needle out. Leave it in, and I'm going to keep it pretty close to the end because I really want the length of my darning needle and I want to be able to hang on to this right now. Alright, so I think if we come, and again this is just a little bit of experiment and a little bit of practice too. And let's see what happens if we come around this way. That looks pretty good. So we'll come around this way, in under this, and then back down under that stitch there, and then out through here. Ah, that leaves a nice little bump there. Let's see if we can get that bump on there. We can probably do that just by going around 100%, almost 180 degrees around that way. Lost our darning, lost our thread through. So, there we go. Yeah, not perfect, but that looks pretty good. And that's helping that to look consistent. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to have this yarn come back over the top and down in through here. So I'm going to run this darning needle where I want it to go, and again I'm going to split this. This is a single ply. I'm going to split it to kind of pull that through and help that this last little end through and help it set a little more securely. So we've got that through there. That's probably about all the end we've got left. So I'll thread that through just enough to pull it so it doesn't get hitched up. Pull it all the way through. Now as I pull it back out, and yeah, I'm really happy with how that edge has turned out. Again, this seam is a little bit visible on this, but it's really pretty subtle given how distinctive this fisherman's rib cowl is. Given how distinctive, and here's our edge where that side is woven in, and it's pretty good looking. All right, let's do this other side. Now, because of how this one has turned out, we don't have, because of how this one has turned out, this side has turned out, we don't have as noticeable a gap. I think just coming over the top right here, yeah, just coming over the top right here and going in first is going to give us that nice beginning start. So thread our needle, And whenever weaving in ends, although you want the backside to be absolutely as neat as possible, well, most people do. I do. I want the backside to be as perfect as possible. We want to try to keep our right side and wrong side in mind as we're weaving in ends. So, looking at the right side and always checking the right side to make sure that we don't have anything unsightly poking through. Okay, that didn't quite produce the result I was looking for. So let's see what happens if we go around again. Looks like it's probably because I didn't go down into here, into this spot right into here. And again, a lot of it is just trial and error. And I really like that. That looks good. Okay. So now I'm going to flip it over to the back because I've got my outside going on. And then because of how this seam is, I can really just follow some of this. And because it's this nice bulky, in a couple of ways, I want to be careful because having it bulky could add, if I'm not careful, I could add to the bulk of the garment and the bulk of our product here, our bulk of our finished object. And sometimes we have to be careful if we're working with a longer tail. Some people to choose to cut theirs off. Now the last one I didn't need to cut off because it was so short that it just blended right in. So in this one I'm kind of just almost working a little bit of a duplicate stitch here on the back. Let's check the front. And the front looks really nice, really good. So I'm going to continue this, and if you can see, I'm kind of following this stitch right here and going down in, and then it comes down and goes through. And it looks like that's a pretty good approach with this particular piece. It's blending really nicely, it's creating a nice fabric, it's not really showing through to the other side. And so I think I'm just going to kind of continue with that across. Now, because I have such a big long tail, I might just keep going for as long as it gets, because when I did my Kitchener on this one, okay, based on the Kitchener stitch I did and wanting it to be loose, it turned out to be just a little looser than the rest of the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this the choice I'm going to make in weaving this end. So I'm going to take advantage of this really nice long tail I have, and I'm going to duplicate stitch through here. So this is coming up over the top. So I'm going to go down in through here and then in through that stitch. And that has thickened this up a little bit over here so it matches more closely the fabric, but it doesn't tighten, it doesn't make it any less stretchy. So yep, that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and continue weaving this in that way, and I'll talk to you when I get done. Alright, so here we are. I'm at the end. I've just got this little bit of a tail. And I think I'm going to work on this side and see if I can get it to look a little bit more like the rest of them. So put it down in through the front. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think I'd probably rather have it go down into there. So as you can see, yeah, I'd probably rather have it go down into there. So as you see, it's really just kind of a matter of trying sometimes what looks best. Sticking it around again. Yeah, that's not too shabby. I'll take this last little bit and just run my needle down through. Thread it up again. Pull it straight through. Okay. So that one's done. Let's see what it looks like on the front. And there we go. Our ends have woven in. Our edges look pretty nice. And that seam is not really very noticeable. Okay, I hope you found value in this tutorial. If you have, please consider a one-time payment via PayPal or a regular subscription via Patreon. The links are down below and they are on the screen. Again, thank you for joining me. See you next time.